Welcome back! This is a continuation of our first video, which had the first 5 tips to acing your undergrad classes. If you missed it or haven't seen it yet, we have linked the video below and put it on the screen here. Now let's talk about tip number 6. So tip number 6 is to figure out which professors you want to take classes with. In some schools, you could pick which classes you take, and the professor you get can make a big difference. So some professors grade more easily and some grade more harshly. We both used Rate My Professor when picking our classes to try to find the professors that graded more nicely. But this is a fine line because you don't want to take a class where you get a good grade and you don't learn anything, because some of these science classes you need to know this for the MCAT. For example, my biochem class had one of the hardest teachers who was super strict and a harsh grader. There was no way I could get out of her class, so I just steered into the skid, so to say. I went to her office hours weekly, essentially memorized my biochem textbook using brute force, and ended up getting an A in her class. I had to put in a lot of work for this class, but thankfully, that biochem foundation came in handy when I started med school, and it set me up for success in the first semester. Hard work is never wasted. Tip number 7 is to speak with upperclassmen about their experience with these classes. They have been through it, and they know the professor. Therefore, if you have an opportunity to speak with them, they can offer some really valuable advice. They might even be able to tell you what to focus on for tests and what topics the professors really like, as well as other super valuable advice. Even little things like when to take classes or how to arrange your schedule are helpful. You don't want to pack the most difficult classes all into one semester. You want to kind of spread them out. Experience is the best teacher, so don't be afraid to ask about other people's journeys to medical school. Tip number 8 is to aim high. So always aim for an A, especially in your science classes. You have a science GPA and a cumulative GPA in the med school application. And often schools really care about that science GPA because, science is important in medicine. While you're shooting for that A, remember that a lot of this information that you learn in your science, as well as psych and stats classes, will probably come up again on the MCAT. So if you don't learn it now, you'll probably have to learn it later. If that still doesn't convince you, something to keep in mind is that if you do well in the upper level science courses like biochem, genetics, psych, stats, neuroscience, anatomy, and phys, it can help you get ahead in medical school because those topics do come up again. My classmates from medical school who took anatomy and physiology were at a huge advantage in medical school. I was really bad at anatomy, I didn't have too much experience with it, so they were way ahead in anatomy. But keep in mind that this is a hard class, and if it's not required, you should weigh the risks and benefits of it, since if you do take the class, you ideally want to get an A. For the biochem and genetic classes that we took, we had questions from those classes in our medical school classes, as well as our Step 1 board exam. So some undergrad material actually shows up, even in medical licensing board exams. You can't hide from your Punnett squares, they come up again. So there is no getting out of hard work, like I said, but you should also work smart while you're working hard. Tip number 9 pertains to doing well in science classes. So the most efficient use of your time is doing practice problems, in my opinion. This was especially true in topics like chemistry, organic chemistry, and physics. Maybe not so much in biology, but it was still helpful in biology, genetics, and biochemistry. You can even ask your professor about practice problems. For these classes, we would highly recommend against just reading notes over and over. So the classes like chemistry, organic chemistry, and physics. Those classes, you need to be able to apply the concepts in your notes, and that's why practice problems are so important. Most test questions will be about applying and integrating your knowledge, not just regurgitating facts from the textbook. In medical school, it's also like that as well. So going off of that, reading your notes is a very passive way of learning, and research has shown that this is not as effective as other methods. Really, rereading notes more than once is not the most efficient use of your time as well. So some more active ways of learning can be using the Anki flashcards, which I recommended in the first video, making your own flashcards, or quizzing each other if you have a study partner. Point is, try to prevent yourself from just reading your notes over and over. We also have videos on our channel intended to help you guys do well in your sciences if you want to take a look. If you're interested in study techniques that we used and would like to see a video on some of our tips and tricks, please leave a comment down below. Our last tip is about efficiency. So try to increase your efficiency. This is key. You want to start thinking about this as early as possible. For example, if you're taking a half course load and struggling all the time to get a 4.0, you have to think about ways to be more efficient with your time and how to study more effectively. Things you could do include watching educational videos while you're running or on the treadmill. If you're taking long showers, there are also shower curtains that you could put your tablet or phone in and you can watch videos while you shower. If you have a long walk to class, you could try turning on a podcast or something you can listen to in order to learn more. Again, active studying is crucial here and should make up the majority of your study time. The way I like to think about this is the more that I can do today in terms of studying, the less I have to do in the future. And I have to do all of this work anyway, so I might as well try to get it all done as soon as possible. So if I can make more efficient use of my time, it also will leave me with more time to do things that I like or things that I need to do. Your time is super valuable, and being efficient will help you with everything in the future. And in medical school, it's even more important to be efficient. So those are the 10 tips shown here. Thank you guys for watching this video. And if you got this far, please give this video a like. Comment below with your own tips and if you want us to make a video on a different topic. Lastly, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss a future video.